Hello guys, in the previous video we have discussed the PYQs of the exams, but today I would like to discuss and show you some facts regarding Indian history. So let's get into the video. Welcome to my channel Edu by Anjali. Today I would like to discuss some facts about Indian history. So most of us don't know the terms like decade, quarter, first half, second half, century and millennium and circa, which are these are considered to be the basic terms of history. So let's know what is the decade. Decade means the period of 10 years. Let me elaborate it simply so that everyone can understand it. So decade means the period of 10 years. Quarter means which is of a century, 1/4 part. Quarter means 25 years of a century. First half of a century, that means first 50 years of a century, the period from first year to 50th year. Second half of a century, that means last 50 years of a century, the period from 51st year to 100th year. Century means the period of 100 years. Millennium means the period of 1000 years. Circa, if you don't know the exact date when the war has happened, so when some kind of book is released during that period, so we don't know the exact date, so we consider it as circa. The example is here given below is the Vedic culture period means the exact date of Vedic culture period is not known, but it is given as c 1500 BC to 600 BC is somewhere close to that. So these are the some important terms associated with time of Indian history. So the next part is first decade of 20th century AD means the period from 1901 AD to 1910 AD. Fifth decade of 20th century AD means the period from 1941 AD to 1950 AD. Eighth decade of 20th century AD means the period from 1971 AD to 1980 AD. The last decade of 20th century AD means the period from 1991 AD to 2000 AD. First quarter of 20th century AD means the period from 1901 AD to 1925 AD. So, the next part. Fourth or last quarter of 20th century AD means the period from 1975 AD to 2000 AD. First half of 20th century AD means from 1901 AD to 1950 AD. Second half of 20th century AD means from 1951 AD to 2000 AD. 6th century BC means 600 BC to 501 BC. 4th century BC means 400 BC to 301 BC. 15th century AD means 1501 AD to 1600 AD. 20th century AD means 1901 AD to 2000 AD. Second millennium BC means 2000 BC to 1001 BC. First millennium BC means 1000 BC to 1 BC. First millennium AD means 1 AD to 1000 AD. Second millennium AD means 1001 AD to 2000 AD. Okay? So now let's know the development sequence of Georgian calendar. This calendar revolutionized into three types: Julian calendar, Christian calendar and Georgian calendar. Julian calendar introduced in 46 BC by Roman king Julius Caesar. Christian calendar was introduced in 527 AD by Monk Dionysius Exiguus. Georgian calendar was introduced in 1582 AD by Roman Pope Georgian XIII. Georgian calendar is modified form of Christian calendar, and Christian calendar is modified form of Julian calendar. It means these calendars are loosely synonymous to one another. The eras except Vikrama, Saka and Hijri era are either vanished in course of time or still in use in specific reasons. National calendar. Saka Samvata is used in some government sector customarily, whereas Georgian calendar is used everywhere practically. Conversion of errors. Now we will discuss conversion of errors. With the help of above mentioned table, any error can be converted into another error. So the first conversion of error is Christian era in Vikrama era. For conversion of AD era in Vikrama era, 57 is added to AD. Convert 2013 AD into Vikrama era. 2013 plus 57 equal to 2070. Now we are going to discuss about conversion of Vikrama era into AD era. To find AD era from Vikrama era, 57 is subtracted from Vikrama era. Convert 2070 Vikrama era into AD era. So 2070 into 57 is 2030. Now we are going to discuss the conversion of AD era into Saka era. To get Saka era from AD era, 78 is subtracted from AD. So convert 2030 AD into Saka era. 2013 minus 78 equal to 1935. Now the conversion of Saka era into AD era. To find equivalent AD era from Saka era, 78 is added to Saka era. Example, convert 1935 Saka era into AD era. So 1935 plus 78 equal to 2013. And conversion of AD of Christian era into Hijri era. To calculate Hijri era from AD of Christian era, the following formula is C minus 622 into 33 by 32 equal to H is used. So the answer will be 1434H. Conversion of Hijri era into AD of Christian era. To calculate AD of Christian era from Hijri era, the following formula is H into 32 by 33 plus 622 equal to C is used. So the answer will be 2013 C. Now we will get into the chronology era. So the Indian history is divided into 4 types. One is ancient India, other one is medieval India, and the next one is modern India, and the other one is postmodern India. So the ancient India began in the year 647 AD, which means from Lithic period to death of Harsha. Medieval India began from 647 to 757, from death of Harsha to the Battle of Palsi. Modern India 1757 to 1990, from the Battle of Palsi to globalization. Postmodern India 1991 till date, from globalization to till date. And here ancient India, which is the beginning, Prehistoric period 30 lakhs BC to 600 BC. Indus civilization 2500 BC to 1750 BC. Vedic culture 1500 BC to 600 BC. Mahajanapada period 600 BC to 332 BC. Maurya period 322 BC to 185 BC. Post-Maurya pre-Gupta period. That means post-Maurya is also known as pre-Gupta period. 185 BC to 319 BC. Gupta period 319 AD to 550 AD. Post-Gupta period is also known as Vardhana dynasty 550 AD to 647 AD. When it comes to medieval period, here they have given a note. Let's read it. On the basis of tools, prehistoric period is divided into three sub-periods: lithic period, copper period and iron period. So, the medieval period is from 647 to 1757. Early medieval period 647 to 1206. Sultanate period 1206 to 1526. Mughal period 1526 to 1707. Whereas the modern period is about 1757 to 1990. This modern period is also known as or divided into stages of British colonialism. First phase, the phase mercantile phase, 1757 to 1830. Monopoly of trade and direct appropriation of revenue. Second phase, the industrial phase, 1830 to 1858. Period of laissez-faire, free trade, which is also known as free trade. Third phase, the financial phase, 1860 to 1947. Financial imperialism period, which is also known as period of British capital investment in India. British policy towards native states of India. Ring fence policy from 1757 to 1830. Subordinate isolation policy from 1830 to 1858. Subordinate union policy 1858 to 1935. Equal federation policy 1935 to 1947. Here comes the national movement. First phase of Congress 1885 to 1905, moderate phase. Second phase of Congress 1905 to 1917, extremist phase. Third phase of Congress 1917 to 1947, Gandhian phase. Yeah, that's all for today's video. Let's continue in the part 2. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel.